Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. Today we are talking about UFC 250, giving our preview and predictions, and all that stuff for the main card and a couple prelims, because there's a couple good prelims that we can talk about.
Yeah, we can go ahead and start with the prelims. First one that really caught my eye was Ian Heinisch and Gerald Meerschaert. I've been pretty big on Gerald Meerschaert, I guess over the last few years, just watching him get a lot of cool submissions and comeback victories and all that. Really good jiu-jitsu guy. Fighting Ian Heinisch, who started either last year or earlier this year in the UFC, who had a lot of hype around him coming in, and then his first fight in the UFC didn't look very good. And then he won his second one, I think, right? Second UFC fight?
No. He won his first fight, and then he lost to Brunson, and then he just lost again to Amari Akhmedov.
Okay, maybe I thought Brunson was his first fight then. And then he lost again?
Yeah, to Amari Akhmedov.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't know. I remember watching Heinisch being kind of disappointed, I think, by his conditioning and just, I don't know, just kind of all around. He just didn't look as good as what the hype was around him. Meerschaert's been around for a long time, and he's been looking really good, so I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, when Heinisch fought Brunson, Heinisch had some hype around him, and I bought in. One, because, well, not really because of Heinisch, but because I never thought Derek Brunson was really that good. It looked like he was on the downside of his career, and then Heinisch looked good early on in the fight, and then he gassed out, and Brunson kind of fucked him up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever saw the Amari Akhmedov fight.
I can't remember.
I'm sure I probably did, but I don't remember it at all. Meerschaert is just really good on the ground. He does lose a lot of fights that I don't think he'll lose, but then he does beat some pretty good guys. He just beat Darren Wynn. So I'm going to go with Meerschaert by submission.
Yeah.
I think if he survives Heinisch early on, I don't see there any way that he doesn't get this to the ground and finish it. So I think Meerschaert by submission is a pretty safe bet.
Heinisch is a good wrestler, though, but that might work against him. So
yeah, being a good wrestler doesn't help when you're fighting a jiu-jitsu guy.
Well, I think it might be hard for Meerschaert to get him to the ground unless he kind of tires him out. So
he got Darren Wynn to the ground. Darren Wynn's a way better wrestler than Ian Heinisch.
True.
It's kind of similar. Like, Darren Wynn's a good wrestler with bad conditioning.
Yeah.
So.
Then the last fight on the prelims, Caceres and Hooper. It's kind of a funny fight.
It's weird. Two long, goofy-looking guys. Alex Caceres has been in the UFC forever. He was on Ultimate Fighter with Koscheck and GSP, and they called him Bruce Leroy.
Yeah. And,
I mean, his UFC record is a pretty good resemblance of his career record because he's 15-12. So, like, usually win a fight and lose a fight.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been very impressed by him at all. Chase Hooper, young dude, what is he? Let me look, 20 years old, I think? Yeah, 20 years old, so youngest guy in the UFC right now. He looked really good in his last fight. I think he'll probably win this one. Alex Caceres doesn't really ever win big fights. And I think I'm buying into Chase Hooper hype. I like him. He's a laid-back kid. He's funny. He's cool.
He looks just like you when you have your hair long.
Yeah, he looked like what I used to look
That's exactly what he looks like. He had to create a character on UFC like a long time ago, and he looks just like Chase Hooper.
Yeah, that's what I look like in high school, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with Chase Hooper. I don't know how he's going to get it done because I know he's good on the ground. His last fight, he submitted, I don't remember who he fought, but it was some short dude, and he, like, guillotined, picked him up off. Actually, no, the other guy did that to him. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. Chase Hooper's good. I like him. I'm going to pick him mostly because Bruce Leroy sucks.
Yeah, I mean, but Caceres, he's been around for a long time. He's fought a lot of good guys. I mean, he's definitely got more experience. I've seen Hooper fight once. I don't really know a lot about him to really make a decision on this fight, but it's one I'm looking forward to, looking to see if how Hooper does against a guy that's been in the UFC so long, and
yeah, it's a fun fight.
See how it really is.
Fun fight.
Yeah.
Main card time. This is a card that, for a long time, when it was announced, like, this card sucks, it's horrible. Nunes and Felicia Spencer were not supposed to be the main event, and now they are. And then one day they announced, like, 4 fights, and they're all good fights. This isn't an insanely good card by any means, but it's not bad. It's something to tune into.
Yeah.
It'd be better as a fight night, but
I think it's a pretty solid card.
It's not bad. Yeah. There's 2 fights on it that are really good.
Mm-hmm. What are those 2 fights to you?
Sunsound Garbrandt and Aljamain versus Sandhagen.
That's what I thought. But we'll start with Eddie Wineland and Sean O'Malley. This is Sean O'Malley's first fight back because he keeps failing for steroids somehow. Doesn't look like he's doing them.
Yeah, he fought in March.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, fuck, maybe I missed
He
that.
beat the fuck out of the guy. It was dope.
Yeah, the last fight I remember him was when he broke his foot and the guy wouldn't get on top of him.
Nah, he fought this year since then.
Yeah, okay.
And looked really good. Knocked the guy out really easily. It was impressive.
I must have missed that one. But, Eddie Wineland, he's another guy that's been around for a long time. I don't think he's looked like super great lately.
He doesn't fight very much. He fights like once a year.
Yeah. I imagine that Sean O'Malley should be able to beat him.
I would think so. Even when Wineland does fight, which is very rare, he doesn't win very much. He won his last fight in 2019. 2018, he lost to Alejandro Perez. 2017, lost to John Dodson. And then 2016 was around when he was actually pretty good. So he was winning some fights back then. He's most famous for getting wheel kicked by Renan Barão. That's how I remember him most. But he used to be really good. But Sean O'Malley is one guy I didn't really buy into the hype to at first, but now I have, especially after his last fight. He looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be really surprised if he loses this fight. I think he'll probably finish him. Wineland is really tough, but I'm going to go Sugar Sean we'll say by knockout.
Yeah, no, he's got a lot of hype around him, but I mean, every time I've watched him fight, he's really impressed me. So yeah, I'm going to go with him as well. Next fight, pretty good one. Neil Magny, Anthony Rocco Martin. If I'm saying that right.
Yeah. Magny, he's hard to really judge how good he is. For a stretch, he was beating some really good guys, and when he loses, it's only to the best guys. Like he lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio. Back a few years ago, he beat Johnny Hendricks. I thought he lost that fight. He beat Carlos Condit recently, but Carlos Condit hasn't looked great. And then most recently, he beat Li Jingliang, which is the massive Chinese dude, like freaking huge. So Neil Magny is good, but he just doesn't beat the best guys. But luckily for him, Anthony Rocco Martin's not one of the best guys at all. He's been in the UFC for a long time. Never really got on a very impressive run.
My rule is if you lost to the Canadian gangster, I usually pick against you if you're fighting a real good guy, which I consider Magny to be good. So yeah, I'm definitely going Magny.
True. Yeah, he's been on win streaks, but he's never they don't match him up against the best guys. In 2017, he beat Johnny Case and Alex White, and then lost to Canadian Gangster. 2018, he beat Kaden Nakamura, Ryan LaFleur, and Jake Matthews. So he never really fought the best guys. When he did, he fought Damian Maia, and he lost. I'm going to go with Neil Magny. He's really hard for people to deal with. His size. He's so long and has decent boxing. He's good on the ground. I think I'll go with Neil Magny I'll say by decision.
I'm going to say submission for the hell of it. I can see him submitting this guy.
Fair. Now onto the good fights. Fight that very could well be for the UFC bantamweight title.
And I think it should be.
Probably should be.
I think this should be for the bantamweight title over Aldo and
Jan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this should be it.
Yeah. So we got Aljamain Sterling versus Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen, basically Dominic Cruz 2.0, has been in the UFC for a couple years and been extremely impressive. Hasn't lost yet, and last year he got his big win against Rafael Assunção. He also beat John Lineker, so 2 good wins. To me, the Assunção one is huge. Assunção was he was the man. People couldn't beat him. He beat TJ Dillashaw, and he just couldn't get a title fight. And then eventually TJ Dillashaw beat him at UFC 200, and then he lost to Marlon Moraes. So I think people are a little low on him. But Assunção was a beast, and Corey Sandhagen beat him. And the striking, the grappling, they had some really good scrambles. I think Sandhagen, he's a threat to anybody in this division. He's so hard to hit. He's so unorthodox. And then you got Aljamain Sterling, kind of another guy that I feel is a little bit overrated. He's been in the UFC for a really long time. He beat Jimmy Rivera, and that was a big deal. But then we kind of found out Jimmy Rivera wasn't all that like we thought he was. He beat Pedro Munoz, which is a big win.
Big one.
And then in 2018, he beat Cody Stammen and Brett Johns. Not really anything special. And then in 2017, he got knocked out by Marlon. So,
yeah,
to me, he's a little bit overrated, but he is still really good. Still one of the top 5 guys in the world, probably. I just think, to me, Sandhagen's just going to be a little too awkward, a little too fast, too hard to hit. I'm going to go with Sandhagen by decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sterling, he's been on a roll. He hasn't skipped a beat ever since he lost to Marlon Moraes in 2017. And he's been getting wins by all different ways, knocking people out, submissions, decisions. He can really do it all. He's really well-rounded. I think Sandhagen is too. So this is a really exciting fight for me. It's one of the tougher ones to pick on here. I'm also going to go with Sandhagen, but I wouldn't count Sterling out here. I'm sure there's still a lot we
Yeah.
need to see from Sandhagen, and Sterling's been looking amazing. So I think this will be one of the best fights of the night for sure.
100%. I'd say it'll be the second best fight because I think this next fight's going to be the best fight of the night. At least the most entertaining. Cody Garbrandt versus Hafala Sunsao. Cody Garbrandt is a former bantamweight champion of the world. At one point in time, he looked like he had the skills to be the best pound for pound fighter in the world. The dude is insane. His win over Dominic Cruz was like, to me, top 3 performance in UFC history probably. It was insane.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
And then ever since he fought TJ those 2 times, I mean, people forget how good he is, but he's just too reckless and his chin isn't there. He got knocked out by Pedro Nunes after those, and like all 3 fights ended in him just like cocking back and trading right hand after right hand after right hand and getting hit on the jaw.
In all of those fights, he also like almost knocked the other guy out.
Yeah, he's definitely the hardest hitting guy in that division, I would say. He just doesn't have the best chin. Then you can go.
Yeah, no, I mean, Garbrandt, I think has looked a little too reckless the last few fights. I think he has all the skills, like you said, that Dominic Cruz fight. I mean, that was about as impressive as I've ever seen anybody. I don't know, he's been training some different places now. He's had some time off. I think he's probably got his mind right. Hopefully this is one of those things that he can kind of overcome mentally and just be able to relax a little bit more in there and not feel like he just has to go out there and knock everybody out like that and just get into those dog fights. Even though, I mean, that's part of what makes him so good. I think Garbrandt's going to get it done. I think, who knows, but I think he probably has got it together. I remember I also said something like that about Luke Rockhold one time, and I was wrong about that. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I remember people saying he was training with Mark Henry. He's like probably the best boxing coach in MMA. And his guys are pretty good about not getting reckless and honestly not getting hit very much. But Hafala Sunsao, we talked about him a lot earlier because I was comparing him to the guys he fought in the earlier fights. I've always been super high on the Sunsao. Back in the day, I thought he was going to be the champ. I think he was scheduled to fight Barao, and it got taken away from him, and then TJ got that fight right after Sunsao had beaten TJ. Since 2016, I mean, he's looked good, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit. He has beaten Sterling since then. He has beaten Marlon Moraes since then. But then later down the road, he did lose to Marlon and Sandhagen, so I think people are kind of forgetting how good he is. I mean, this guy hits hard as shit. He has good grappling. He's in good shape. He throws vicious leg kicks. The more I think about it, I did want to pick Sunsao. But now, I don't know, because like, Garbrandt's really just losing to guys that hit really fucking hard. I don't know if a Sunsao's going to be able to out-fight him, so it might come down to a Sunsao landing a big shot and knocking him out, which I'm just not so sure a Sunsao really has in his arsenal. So, I don't know, this is 50-50. Today we were talking about when we were eating lunch, and I said a Sunsao, but now I kind of think Garbrandt will win.
It's a tough one.
I don't know. I'm going to go, I don't think Garbrandt can finish him, though. So can Garbrandt go 3 rounds without getting knocked out?
I think so. We'll see. I mean,
I have no prediction for this one yet.
I'm going to go with Garbrandt, but I mean, they could go either way. Both of these 135-pound fights here can go either way.
Yeah. And a win for Garbrandt puts him right back in title contention. He's obviously not there yet, but it puts him right back in there. Like, right back into the top 6 guys.
I mean, the winner of Sandhagen and Sterling have to get the title fight next because I think that should be for the title since it's vacant.
Yeah. I'd say that, and then I'd say the winner of a Sunsao and Cody fight Marlon, because the Sunsao and Marlon are 1-1 against each other. And I mean, if Cody can beat Marlon, Cody's the number 1 guy. After that, if he beats a Sunsao and Marlon, then he'd be right in line for a title shot too. So
that makes sense. There's a lot of really cool matchups they can make there at that weight. So
yeah, this division's good, really good. Main event, probably not a whole lot to talk about in this one. Amanda Nunes and Felicia Spencer. Amanda Nunes, obviously, everybody that's watching this knows, greatest female fighter of all time. Demolishes everybody. Has beaten every champion in this weight class. Knocked out Ronda, knocked out Cyborg, knocked out Holly, finished Misha, dominates everybody she fights. It's going to take something either extremely lucky or a girl that we haven't seen fight yet to beat her. Felicia Spencer, she is good. I like Felicia Spencer. She upset Megan Anderson. Then she fought Cyborg, and she didn't get finished. She took a fucking beating, but she looked really tough, which makes me think Nunes may not be able to finish her. I don't know. She took a fucking beating from Cyborg and didn't go down. So I think that's going to be most of this fight, is that Nunes just beating the shit out of Spencer.
That's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah. There's not too much detail to go into for that fight.
Yeah.
And then there's really nobody... I mean, Nunes has no one to fight. She needs to... The only fight for her is Valentina.
Mm-hmm. That's all I want to see.
Meet at 35 again. When they fought before, Valentina was... I mean, they were both at 35. Valentina's small. She'll be small again, but she's better now, I think. And I think most people thought Valentina won that fight. It was pretty boring, but...
I want to see that fight real bad.
Yeah,
that's the only fight I really want to see. Like,
for the
as
girls.
far as, yeah.
No, I want to see... That's not true. For that weight, that's the only one. But I want to see Rose versus
Yeah.
Zhang Wiley. Is that her name?
Wiley Zhang.
Whatever. Yeah, one of those. So yeah, we got some fights. That's a pay-per-view. Sucks. I don't think many people are gonna buy this.
But I think a lot of people will probably stream it. I'll be at work. I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, I would rather this card just not have Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer at all, and it just be a fight night.
Yeah.
Because like out of the main card, the main event is like probably the least fight I care about on that main card. Besides maybe Neil Magny, because I don't give a shit about that either.
That's what sucks about being such a dominant champ. People like don't want to see you fight as bad because you just beat everybody up so bad.
Well, it's that and the 145 division. They don't have any fighters. It's like what threat does Felicia Spencer show? She's decent on the ground. Probably not as good as Nunes on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, if Felicia Spencer won this fight, it would be the biggest upset in MMA history. No close second.
I don't know. Maybe.
How?
I don't think anything ever tops Matt Serra and GSP.
But Matt Serra was actually good. Like Matt Serra had good fight with Matt Hughes, and like.
Not before that.
Matt Serra was good.
That was after.
I know it was after, but he was still good. Yeah. He won the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Felicia Spencer, like, there's no threat. At least with Matt Serra, there was a threat. Like, he hits hard and he was on the ground.
Yeah, but the threat was his jiu-jitsu.
And also, that was GSP's first title defense.
Yeah.
Amanda Nunes has been running through every girl since UFC 200.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's just looking back on it was the biggest upset.
Yeah. Well, it still is. Well, is it? Yeah,
I think so.
It is. I was trying to for some reason I thought there was another one. Like, Holly and Ronda was a big deal, but looking back on it, it shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of off topic anyway. Shout out to Big Heads Media for putting us on Stitcher, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. We have this Cormier giveaway still. We were going to do it today. We just didn't have time. We got a lot of shit we got to do. We're about to record a few more short episodes because I'm leaving for Florida for a week. And then after that, he's going to Colorado. So we're about to record a lot of stuff to be posting for the next few days. I don't know when. We might just have to do the Cormier giveaway on Twitter or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we'll be giving it away soon. So we'll still let you guys enter, comment on this video, and subscribe, or go to Twitter and retweet that. And follow us on there to enter the Daniel Cormier Funko Pop giveaway. And we will see you guys next time.